Kia ora te whānau. This is my first response to the readings for my blog that I will post up eventually about just responding to my online journal for my university paper at Te Whare Wānanga Waikato, MAORI-570. So this is the first reading on my first post that I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about Indigenous story work, educating the heart, mind, body, and Spirit by Joanne Archibald. Sorry, I've got notes down here, I've got notes up there, so just bear with me. So there's 2 points I want to talk about coming through here, talking about chapter 2, the Coyote Searching for the Bone Needle, chapter 2 of this book. There's 2 points that I want to talk about. This first one is talking about the fire, and I'll be talking about my research kaupapa and what I'm deciding for my thesis, and the second one is talking about elders and how I find they're quite important from Māori lens to be thinking about elders. So first of all, talking about the fire. So the second chapter is about starts off talking about this coyote looking for this bone needle, and they're looking late at night. There's a fire in the middle. Looking for the bone needle around the fire, and it's not until someone asks him where he lost the bone needle that it was further away in the bush where the light wasn't as bright, and that we need to look further away. It's easy to pick thesis kaupapa, thesis topics that are easy to do. There's a lot of information on them, but we actually need to look further away from the fire. We need to look in the bush where we're actually lost, and out further away from the fires where we're actually going to help our people, and how our research is actually going to be used instead of just being added to the pile of somebody else's larger research stuff, topics that have already been done a lot and there's already a lot of information on them. I feel we need to move away from the fire, the bright light, the easy stuff to do. It's a harder thing to do, but I feel when we're talking about our thesis topic, or this is how I'm going to use it for my research, looking back, is that we need to look further away from the easy subjects and sort of pick something that's actually really relevant to me, as I've just started my master's, sort of have an idea of what I want to do, but it's still quite broad, and I need to bring it down and actually ask, what's the stuff out in the darkness that I need to look into. So the quote here, was I doing anything different from earlier outsider academics who created a legacy of mistrust among First Nations? So again, we need to, when I'm thinking about, I think this is really good for me as I'm just starting out, thinking about what I need to do and how it's going to affect our people, and that I don't need to be doing a subject that's going to whakaiti our people. I need something that's going to actually help people and make people realize, oh, hey, we need to look further into that sort of subject. We need to, that actually can help our people, instead of, back researchers coming from the outside, looking inside, putting us under a microscope. And I need to make sure when I'm doing my kaupapa and doing interviews and stuff that I'm working with the people and not looking down on them and studying on them. So I think this first chapter has been really good. Made me think a lot about my research topic and ways that I should be researching, doing interviews and stuff, I feel, instead of and not twisting the words of people when I get the interview subject and stuff. I'm just blabbering on now, so I'm going to move over to my second point, which is it talks about elders. And it says here, page 37, chapter 2, respect is attributed to elders, people who have acquired wisdom through life experiences, education, and reflection. And I think this is really important, looking at, especially from Te Ao Māori, as we have kaumātua, that know everything. You don't correct your kaumātua, and that they actually have like a lot of our knowledge in our tikanga isn't actually written down, like in my marae. Everyone knows the tikanga, but it's not actually written down, and is that there aren't theses about our tikanga. There aren't this stuff isn't abundant for us to go read and learn about, as in, like, from Te Ao Pākehā perspective. you can read up on all the laws and stuff like that, and it's all there in literature. But in Te Ao Māori, it's sort of, you have to look at, I find myself looking at my kaumātua, and, you know, they're the thesis, they're the ones I sit down and talk to for hours about our tikanga and learn the stories behind and the reasons why we do things. So I think it's really important for, if I was to apply to my own research, looking at, I think I'm going to do a lot of interviews, thinking from Te Ao Māori, is that just interviewing kaumātua elders that have lived their life and they know about Te Ao Māori and they know what happens and what goes on, is that it's the other ones I need to be talking to and interviewing. Even though, you know, they're not quite like esteemed researchers and stuff like that, they still hold a lot of mātauranga and stuff like that. So that's just my first week's readings, checking out my first few readings. This one was really interesting, and I thought it made me think a lot about my kaupapa that I'm going to do, my topic for my thesis, as I still haven't really decided, and how to run those interviews and who I should be talking to and how I should be researching. So yeah, kia ora.